Okay, we're live now. So first, welcome everyone. This is August the 10th, 2020. First is the roll call. Please, Ms. Golden.
Yes, Mayor Curley.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Blanks.
Here.
Alderperson Berry.
Here.
Blackwell.
Here.
Dunn. Here. Noes.
Here.
Mathis.
Here.
7 present.
Well, we have a quorum, so we will proceed. We're very pleased that Pastor Nutter is with us this evening. Ask Reverend Nutter if you would step to the podium and offer an invocation. Ask everyone to please stand and remain standing while he leads us in the pledge. Reverend Nutter.
Thank you, Mayor. It's in prayer. Heavenly Father, in our ordered way, we have elected these men and women who are before us this night. We pray that you would ever pour out your wisdom and discernment as they make decisions that affect us all. Remind each of them, Lord, that they are truly servants to you and to this great community that we all love. Hear our prayers. We ask it in Jesus' name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor Nutter. Appreciate you being with us tonight, as always. Thank you. All right. We have I'll recognize Mrs. Moody at the podium for a recognition at this time.
Thank you. I am honored today to recognize two very extraordinary volunteers and just passionate individuals, Tullahoma residents, Lynn Adkilski and David Clark, who cannot be with us, unfortunately. But tonight, we're wanting to recognize them for their extraordinary work in founding and building the Farmers Market Tullahoma. Their passion really grew this from, I think, a few vendors coming together in a parking lot into a really thriving community market that every week, I think, it's only in its second year this year, and it's already expanded the season to be open a month earlier than it was last year. Regularly, we have, I think, between at least vendors that have signed up, 35 to 40 vendors, and each week there's more and more interest in joining the market. So we thought it's such an extraordinary thing that they have accomplished. We wanted to recognize it with an award. Mayor Curley, do you have any words that you would want to add, or do you want to come down and present this?
No, you go ahead.
Okay, well, let me welcome Lynn.
Yeah.
Thank you all. And it is hot, Jim. It's really hot out there today. We have some hardy vendors out there, I'll tell you.
So I'll read this to you. Tullahoma City Government would like to recognize Lynn Adkilski for her significant contributions, dedicated service, and founding of the Farmers Market Tullahoma.
Very beautiful. I would say without you, this probably would not have happened, so thank you so much for this. It is an awesome market, and I'm so glad we have one at times where working people can come see us. So we have a lot of hard-working people out there. There's no way I could do this by myself. Thank you all so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Lynn has done such an outstanding job with that the past 2
Thank you
years.
so much.
Unbelievable.
And we could always welcome maybe David next
Good.
meeting.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you all so
Lynn.
much, and have a wonderful night.
She's got to get back to the market. Thank you, Ms. Moody. All right, the next is comments from citizens. Anyone in the audience have anything to address the board that's not later on the agenda? Seeing none, we will proceed. We're ready for board reports. Mr. Mathis.
Mr. Curley, they are probably, no, they're not probably, they're going to go hybrid in our school system. And I learned today that some of the schools may go virtual totally instead of hybrid. So that's something we need to look forward to, because the kids are gonna be at home. They're not going to be in school. And I've been subbing for the last 2 weeks, and it is a sight to go through that and see how that's manipulated and how it's carried on. It's really something to see. So a lot of your teachers have to do teaching, and then they have to get on the computer and use their computer to take those at home. So it looks like that's what's going to happen, and it's going to happen soon. Yeah, that's all I have.
Good, thank you, Mr. Mathis. Mr. Barry?
I don't have much. It's been a really busy couple months here. I do want to congratulate Mayor-elect Novis. And sad to see you go as well, and Mr. Mathis. But that's all I really have. Time to get back to work.
Yeah. Good. Thank you, Mr. Barry. Ms. Blackwell?
Yeah, a couple things, just to carry up what Alderman Mathis was saying. They are looking at going to a hybrid version of school starting on, well, really, it starts on Monday. It looks like Monday, Tuesday of this week, they will be in class, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, they're going to be regrouping. And this is assuming that things continue the way that they are right now. K through 2 will be in school 4 days a week, 3 through 5, 1 day a week, and then the 6 through 12 will be virtual. So lots happening. With that said, if cases as we see are on the rise, I'm sure you'll talk about that in a second, but wear a mask, people. The other thing I was going to say is I have office hours at the Grand Lux Inn on Thursday from 1 to 3 p.m. I'll be there. There will be coffee. If you'd like to come and chat with me, that's where you can meet me. Next week, we'll be meeting a committee that's been put together to write the bylaws for the Diversity Council. So we'll be meeting on the 19th of next week. So I'm excited to move that forward as well. And I'm excited also to see that we have the Jefferson Street Park thing on the agenda. We are at $8,200 fundraise as of now, and I think moving this forward, we'll be able to get even more contributions coming in. So moving along.
Good.
Yes, so that's it.
Very good, thank you. Dr. Blanks?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Since our last meeting, I hadn't had any other specific meetings with TV or Duck River Arts Council. We've put that off since we're going to have to elect a new president, since our president has moved out of town so suddenly, or for jobs or whatever. Good to see Splash Island open last weekend. I think we're, Kurt, we're opening that on the weekends through when, Labor Day? You're not in your normal place. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're going to open weekends through Labor Day weekend, and we're going to judge the attendance we're having and the staffing levels that we're able to get to see if we're going to open up more weekends after that. One of the challenges with staffing is a lot of our lifeguards that had planned to come back from college on the weekends and work are finding that their campuses aren't letting them leave once they get there, so they will not be able to come back to guard. So we're checking the levels and then also checking the attendance, because a lot of times right after Labor Day it drops drastically anyway.
All right, thank you. Also, I'd like to, my appreciation for the man sitting next to me who has been on the board all but, 1 or 2 years that I've been on the board. I think he's done a great job. We will miss you, but I know you'll have your agenda full of your advertising business, grandkids, and grandkids, and also Evelyn. She might be happy for you to be around more or not. I'm sure she will.
I'll let you know.
Okay. We have an extra bedroom if you need to come over. But Lane, we appreciate what all you've done for Tullahoma. I could just go through tons of lists, so we appreciate all you've done, and we'll miss you, but we know you're not leaving town or anything.
Nope.
And last but not least, Shop Tullahoma. This last weekend, we didn't get any tax revenue because the state does this little holiday where we don't get the taxes off of that. But I don't know, how does that affect us?
The way
No,
that
we're held harmless.
the
Are we
sales tax
still harmless?
holidays work, it freezes the 7% state sales tax, but the local sales tax are still collected.
Oh, cool.
Good.
Yeah.
But the rest, some of the restaurants were not taxing as well, I think.
Yeah, I think what a lot of retailers and this time the restaurants do is to make the sale easier for their customer, they say that they're waiving the tax, but ultimately, they do have to pay the local portion.
Okay, so it's a hold harmless to us. Well, that's good. Still shop Tullahoma. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank
Good.
you.
Thank you, Dr. Blanks. Thanks for your kind words.
Yeah.
Ms. Dunn?
Yes, well, the Go Green Committee is not meeting next month because of Labor Day, but we are still having a lot of activities. On August 24th, and I know there's a board meeting that night, but the Tennessee Trails Association is going to be touring May Prairie, which is in Hillsborough area. It's the largest virgin prairie east of the Mississippi River. So it's something that I think people of Tullahoma should go and see and appreciate. And that's going to be August 24th at 5:30. If people are interested in going, they should contact Joan Hartvickson of the Tennessee Trails Association. You can look that up on their website. But I know several of the Go Green members are going to be going to that as well. So, that's all I got.
Very good. Thank you, Ms. Dunn. Mr. Norris, please, sir.
Yes, sir. As of last week, we were very busy with Alderman Berry and I in a campaign. And I congratulate Alderman Berry on running a tough race. It was not an easy race. And when with the way the results were reported, with Daniel Berry winning the precinct voting, imagine how low I felt. And then, when the early voting came in, and that was heavily for me, I couldn't help but imagine how Daniel Berry felt. So I appreciated that, Daniel. So it was quite a roller coaster ride for both of us. So I did have a conversation with Alderman Berry last week saying regardless of the winner of this election, we'd still be serving on this board and serving the citizens of Tullahoma. And he certainly wholeheartedly endorsed that, so I look forward to doing that. As for the activities for the week, in the morning at 8 o'clock, I'll be on a Zoom meeting for Arnold Community Council. And in that meeting, one of the major things that will be being discussed is the congressional activity looking at paying back pay to those Arnold Community Council members who were not made whole when they went on unemployment. So they're looking at making them whole. If that can be passed, it will make a major financial infusion of money into the community. It is in the millions of dollars that will be in that back pay that they'll be getting in an infusion. So we can look for some sales tax revenue from that, for sure. Other thing in the morning tomorrow evening at 5 o'clock, we'll be having our airport, or our Tullahoma Airport Authority meeting that we'll be doing. That'll be live. The Arnold Community Council will be a Zoom meeting. That's all I have. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Norris. So earlier this afternoon, each of you participated when we recognized 4 individuals for their service. So you see on the agenda, I did not want to name those names, of course, as several of those people have access to the agenda in the media. So at this time, I would need a motion to approve the naming opportunity for Patricia Williams, Steve Worsham, Jim Conley, and Jody Balls.
Be glad to make that motion, Mayor.
I'll second.
Proper motion. I want to try something here. Ms. Dunn, do you offer that motion as well? Dr. Blanks?
All but Judge Conley. No, I'll take it.
Ms. Blackwell? Mr. Mathis? All right, so we now have a motion by acclamation. And do you think I need to read these 4 again or not?
Sure, read it for the people
For people that are listening.
Right,
to you.
Okay, so we have a motion and we have a second. Pat Williams has served in a variety of important positions during her 38 years of dedicated service to the people of Tullahoma. She served as the city government's full-time finance director for many years and was responsible for the proper and accurate collection and expenditure of millions of dollars of taxpayers' money each year. Mrs. Williams also served as interim city administrator on numerous occasions. In fact, prior to our employing a city administrator, Mrs. Williams was considered the de facto manager of city government. She implemented many cost-saving and innovative measures during her tenure. Mrs. Williams retired from full-time service in 2002, but continues to serve the people of Tullahoma in a part-time position, exceeding 56 years of total service. Today, we are naming this suite of offices the Patricia Williams Financial Suite in her honor. Thank you, Mrs. Williams. Steve Worsham was first selected city attorney in 1967 and has served in that capacity for 40-plus years. Records are incomplete, but his service as city attorney is considered the longest in Tullahoma's history, and he's still going strong. He has participated in over 1,000 board mayor and alderman meetings during that time. During his tenure, he has provided wise counsel to 9 different mayors, dozens of aldermen, and at least 8 city administrators. All came to depend and rely on his superior knowledge of the Tennessee Code and Tullahoma ordinances and resolutions, hundreds of which he authored. His long service is a testament to his knowledge, hard work, loyalty, and his constant eye on the long-term best interest of Tullahoma. Mr. Worsham adopted Tullahoma many years ago and has become one of our city's most ardent and passionate supporters through his work in many local organizations. From now on, the conference room downstairs will be known as the Stephen M. Worsham Conference Room. Thank you, Mr. Worsham. Jim Connolly represents the 3rd branch of Tullahoma City government. He has served as city judge since 1978, 42 years. We believe the longest tenure as a city judge in Tullahoma's history. Tullahoma was founded in 1852, 168 years ago. That means Judge Connolly has been our city judge approximately 1/4 of the time since Tullahoma's founding. I don't think he appreciated me saying that. All right. Judge Connolly typically hears and dispenses about 80 cases bi-weekly, which means over 42 years, he has heard approximately 84,000 cases and is still going strong. We appreciate his willingness to serve the people of Tullahoma and feel it is appropriate this courtroom and boardroom be named after Judge Connolly. Thank you, Judge Connolly. Jody Baltz served the people of Tullahoma and the board mayor and alderman as city administrator for over 19 years, the longest tenure of any city administrator in the history of Tullahoma. This remarkable achievement is doubly impressive considering the typical tenure of a city administrator is less than 5 years. His long tenure is a testament to his good work ethic, communication skills, ability to tackle tough challenges, and always exhibiting excellent leadership. Tullahoma has had a city administrator for approximately 40 years, and Mr. Baltz served nearly 1/2 of those years. In addition to his more than full-time position as city administrator, Mr. Baltz found time to author books and is considered a premier local historian. It is appropriate this historical building, a relic of World War II, be named after Mr. Baltz in recognition of his superb work as our city administrator and local historian. Thank you, Mr. Baltz. Now, I've just called the names of 4 individuals, 2 of which are in the room. Mr. Worsham, your name was called. Do you wish to defend yourself?
But I did tell Mr. Baltz on the way back from the dedication down there at the Red Cross building that I hope that we weren't people who later on, after various things were named before us, didn't have our names stripped from them before we did. So I'll try to be real careful about that. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Mr. Baltz.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the board. I just want to again express to you my thanks for the honor that you've bestowed on me. I've enjoyed every minute working with Tullahoma and wish the city nothing but the best. And looks like things are going to be continuing to go very well, and the citizens support the work of all the board members and appreciate all the work of the board members. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Baltz. Okay, I have a motion and a second on the floor. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion as presented, vote green, opposed, vote red. Motion passes 7-0. So I've received two emails recently. Mayor Curley, I just wanted to take a moment and let someone know that Jeff Wilson and his team at the Tullahoma Animal Shelter are doing a great job. The facility is clean, inviting, and feels safe in a time of COVID. Jeff is professional, thorough, and knowledgeable. He gets to know potential families in a way that is not intrusive and provides insight to help with important decisions. It is clear he is just as concerned about the welfare of animals as the potential adopters. The trainer he is working with also is excellent. After searching shelters here in Nashville with long wait lists and intrusive applications, I made a call to the Tullahoma shelter. Jeff was so kind and helpful that I didn't mind making the drive to Tullahoma. We just arrived home with our new family member. Just wanted you to know I'm impressed with an effort the city supports. And this individual, who I do not know, is from Nashville. This is directed to Butch Taylor. I would like to take a moment to acknowledge you and your team. I am a homeowner for approximately 13 years in Tullahoma. My home long served as a mission home for women seeking shelter, and I worked and lived in Florida. I have never been happier to report the effort I am seeing for cleanup of the streets. I've noticed the effort and want to personally thank your leadership and team for addressing this issue, as many are renovating as I am in the area. I even noticed the rock added to the turn onto Helen, which is damaging tires and trims as folks turned there. I noticed the new grates replaced, so the people that walk and bike there can safely travel. With school started, many small children walk to school in my area. Thanks for keeping their safety at the forefront. My words don't begin to express how I love Tullahoma and have always been proud to call it home. Thanks for all you do in helping make our town the best. Signed, Janice Stovall. Wasn't that nice? Congratulations. So, last thing I have, after 18 years and presiding at over 430 Board of Mayor and Aldermen meetings, this is my last full board meeting over which I will preside. It's hard to believe the next meeting will be my last to walk up the 18 steps to enter this boardroom as your mayor. I will step down at the next meeting as I hand the gavel over to Mr. Noes. Mr. Noes, I pledge to you my efforts to ensure a smooth transition, and please know I will be available to you if I can ever be of assistance. A special thank you to our children, Rob and Rosalind. They both literally grew up while their dad was an elected community leader and away many evenings at meetings. I'm pleased to report neither were too negatively affected and lead normal, happy, productive lives. There might have been a few times along the way that proved challenging and a little stressful having their dad as the mayor, but it appears they were not scarred too badly. To my parents, thank you for the use of your good names, as I know that is why I was first elected in 1982. And now a word about Evelyn. We've been married 41 years, and 31 of those years I've been in elected leadership positions. Can you imagine putting up with that? But she has, and not only put up with it, but behind the scenes an integral part of Tullahoma's success. Evelyn has enhanced my good ideas and single-handedly rejected my bad ideas. She is my constant cheerleader. I'm reminded of the great rock band Chicago's lyrics in the song Just You and Me. She's my love, my life, she's my inspiration. Please do not underestimate her many, many contributions. She also keeps me grounded. When I got home after my first election victory 38 years ago, her comment tonight, when I get home after 18 years of mayor, will be the same. Tomorrow is garbage day. Don't forget to take out the garbage. Told you, she Thank you. I'm asked all the time. That was for Evelyn, okay? I'm asked all the time if I will miss being mayor. Yes, of course I will miss being mayor. I've loved being your mayor and trying to make good things and opportunities happen for the people of Tullahoma. It's been an exciting, challenging, and very rewarding experience. Being mayor has been an integral part of my life, and I often went to sleep thinking about what I needed to do as mayor and would wake up with the same thoughts. It certainly can be all-consuming. I've done my best to lead with a servant leader mindset. I've always tried to be fair, respectful, kind, lead calmly, and set a good example. I've always tried to present Tullahoma in a good light and never embarrass our community. I describe myself as the CEO of Tullahoma, the Chief Encouragement Officer of Tullahoma. It's been rewarding to help design a community where people want to work, live, play, and raise their families. Building a community in which young families want to remain, return, or relocate has always been my goal. It's been an honor and a privilege to work with some excellent public servants over the year. Individuals like Sue, Pat, Wayne, Butch, Kurt, Lee, Tom, J.C., Rosemary, Paul, Jason, C.B., Richard, Costa, Don, Dan, Catherine, John, Robin, Winston, Debbie, Mary, Joe, Brian, Jana, Chuck, Jody, Jennifer, and Steve. I've seen firsthand over the years what these individuals and their teams do day in and day out, and I'm proud of their hard work and dedication. I also appreciate the work and dedication of the appointed members of our boards and agencies. These are true public servants. Our city government is in very good hands. One of my goals in recent years has been to get more people involved in community leadership, and I'm proud to see the results of that effort. I've also enjoyed introducing a new community initiative each year and challenging our residents to get involved and empowering their action. I hope the Go Green, Arts Council, Get Fit, Sports Council, Tourism, Downtown, and Entrepreneur initiatives not only survive, but thrive under new leadership. I also hope more community initiatives will be added. My goal has always been to position Tullahoma as the city of opportunity and innovation. What will I miss the most? Certainly I will miss the interaction with the young people at their schools. Each year for many years, I visited every grade and every school, telling the children encouraging stories, trying to lift them up and encourage them to do their best. I wanted them to know who their mayor is and that he cares about them. Until the pandemic, I would shake hands with every child in every grade every year. That's thousands of little hands over the years. I've also handed out nearly 2,500 what I call official mayor cards to children who have come up to me in stores and restaurants and ball games. Each one not only got a card, but a little written encouragement with their name on the card. I'll miss that interaction. I hope in some small way in some small way I've been encouragement to these children.
Take your time, Mayor, we're not in any hurry.
I got through Evelyn's part. I'm reading fast. It's hard to believe that shy, tall, skinny little red-headed boy that used to ride his bike all over Bel Air school property, later a lifeguard at the old city pool, and a gopher for the DHS baseball team, could grow up to be the longest-serving mayor of Tullahoma. By sharing my story with them, I hope it causes every young person to think, well, if he can grow up to be mayor, anybody can. And they would be right. I've also enjoyed recognizing achievements by our citizens, both young and old. Everybody needs a little pat on the back, and I've always felt by recognizing folks for a job well done in some small way, it makes them feel special that their achievement did not go unnoticed by their community. As best I can figure, I've worked with approximately 50 different aldermen over the years. Although we didn't and don't always see eye to eye on every issue, I respected each and every one. I've always tried to preside in a professional and a fair way. I also believe each of you did what you thought was in the best interest of the community. I've done my best to make sure every voice is heard. I will always appreciate and have fond memories of these relationships. Through my 31 years of elected community leadership, I've met thousands of Tullahoma residents. I consider each a friend and wish only the best for everyone. Many residents have said some kind things to me over the past several months. I appreciate their encouraging words. Thanks to many people and partners, a great deal has been accomplished over these years. By 3 different measures, we are the #1 micropolitan city in the state. We still believe in excellence in education. Greenways have been extended. We are getting closer to having nearly every resident within 1/2 mile of a fitness opportunity. Splash Island is an incredible asset for the young and young at heart, and the renovation of D.W. Wilson Community Center has been amazing. C.D. Stamps Community Center is a tremendous asset. We will soon have a state-of-the-art police station. We are strongly positioned as a retail, medical, art, and aviation hub. We offer the fastest internet in the country. We will soon have even more vibrant downtown. We are a very safe community. The city government has an excellent bond rating. Parks have been added and improved. Tullahoma is a more green community. Our airport continues to be a valued asset. I believe more great things are in store for Tullahoma, and I look forward to hearing about many more high points in Tullahoma's future. Tullahoma has been my home for over 60 years and is a very special and unique place. I love our community and the people who live here, and thank you for the wonderful opportunity you've given me to serve as your mayor. It has been a true honor and a labor of love. My overall challenge has been to leave Tullahoma a better place than when I first arrived. I hope I've lived up to your expectations. It's hard for me to believe that since I was first elected alderman at the tender age of 26 in 1982, 31 of my last 38 years have been in elected leadership positions. Alderman for 5 years, member of the Tennessee General Assembly for 8 years, and mayor for 18 years. You are perhaps familiar with Teddy Roosevelt's "Man in the Arena" quote, part of which reads, "The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is covered by dust and sweat and blood, and who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes up short again and again, because there's no effort without error and shortcoming, but actually strives to do the deeds, who spends himself in a worthy cause." Friends, I've been in the arena for 31 years. It's time for my exit. Thank you.
Good job.
If I can, I think now would be an appropriate time, on behalf of this board and the city employees and myself and Steve Worsham, we have a small token, a gift that we would like to give you, and just recognizing that you are our longest serving mayor and the only mayor that I think many residents have ever known. Your fingerprints are all over the city, and certainly you've left a legacy and planted seeds for future years of harvest that we'll continue to benefit from. And we couldn't let you walk out the door, recognizing everyone else without thanking you and recognizing you for your years of service. And you will be truly missed. You've been so valuable to each and every one of us. I know you've had some part in our personal development, and so we thank you for that. So if I can, I want to present you with this gift, and maybe I'll let you open it. I'm trying to think what could be a fitting gift for the longest serving mayor.
Not ticking. Look at that.
I know, I probably should have. 1993 to 2002 and 2011 to 2020 in recognition of Lane Crowley for 18 years of leadership and dedicated service to the people of Tullahoma and longest serving mayor of Tullahoma City Government. And then inside,
Oh,
his very own gavel.
very, very nice. Thank you.
Hold it this way, Mayor.
Oh.
Yeah.
Thank you. Wow, that's very classy. Thank you.
So just one thing for you to remember us. And there will also be a virtual reception at 4 o'clock, Winston, or 4:30? At 4 o'clock on August 24th. And we will have to do it virtually, so that's one reason why I wanted to present this tonight. Yes, we will have more surprises. More surprises.
I like to surprise people. I don't like to be surprised. Okay, ready for the city attorney's report. Mr. Winston, please, sir.
There's no way I can follow you, Lane. I want to thank you personally for your friendship and all you've done for this town. I know that you're one of the most compassionate people I've ever known, and I know that you're a person of quality of life guy. You love the town and want everybody else to love it too, and I think that that infectious feeling that you have has really conveyed that to all the people of this community. Thank you very much for all you've done for our town. And we're going to continue to rely upon you to continue to do that for us, even though you're not mayor. I want to thank you all, too, for the honor of having the conference room named for me. That was a real surprise. I came over here to honor my friend Pat Williams, and I appreciate what you did for Pat and me and Jim Conley and Jody Baltz, all good friends. This town is a wonderful town, and the people here are wonderful people, and that's why most of us that came here like I did as a small child, with parents that thought they'd be here 3 years, then move on, never left. And I'm not going to leave. I told my children that the next thing that gets moved out of my house is my body. Thank you so much. And tonight, we are working some things. Some of the things you know about, that Ms. Moody and I have been working on a lease for London's in order to enable them to have the outdoor beer garden that they're now operating under a special permit for until that lease is finalized. And it's just little loose ends that we need to tie up before we actually do that. She and I are working together with members of the staff on attempting to shore up the Arts Center. We make appropriations to them every year. We've withheld those briefly this year in order to see that we can get them back on track, and we're going to be working with people down there that are familiar with it in order that we can do that, because we understand, as all of you all do, that that's a very important asset for our town. It's the kind of thing that brings people in here that really benefit our town and benefit from our town. We're working on an agreement with Mr. and Mrs. Markham. They own the property across behind Tri-County Bank there, that the American contractors that are building our new police facility are utilizing. They're utilizing it free. The Markhams have agreed to allow us to do that, but we did agree to remit that property taxes for them for this year in consideration. They're doing that, and I'm going to work on a very simple agreement to that effect. Mr. Gibbs and I and Ms. Casey that works for us are working on the delinquent property tax matters, and we're going to have a tax sale. We've talked to the county tax attorney as well. We're going to try to work with the county this year on those things, and hopefully by this time next year that will have been accomplished. Hopefully we'll collect all the delinquent taxes and won't have to have a sale. Do y'all have any questions about anything?
Thank you, Mr. Winston.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for your kind words. Mrs. Moody.
Okay, just a few things tonight. I'll just give you an update. I did reach out to Municipal Technical Advisory Services, MTAS, and our management consultant, Hannah Rogers, has agreed to join us for an upcoming meeting and do a review of parliamentary procedures, so Robert's Rules of Order, those type things. And then we also, as you know, Steve Worsham and I talked about having an executive session September 14th, that Monday. We'll want to meet at 4:30 and go over a couple of legal matters with you. And then also just wanted to share with you that a combination of factors, but some of it being the increasing active cases in our county, and then from really a staffing decision and thinking about what's best, we're not going to have a Labor Day event this year. So I just wanted to make that announcement. Okay.
Is that it?
That is all.
Good, thank you, Mrs. Moody. Okay, ready for the consent agenda. We have 10 items. Item number 20-67, minutes of the July 27, 2020 regular meeting. 20-68, set a public hearing on a request to rezone a 28.4 acre parcel at 1800 East Lincoln Street from R2 Medium Density Residential District to R3 High Density Residential District for Monday, August 24th, 2020 at 5:30 p.m. Item number 20-69, announced 2 vacancies on the Tullahoma Tree Board for 2-year terms. Item number 2070, approve the mayor's reappointment of Ralph Graham, Mark Shemp, Susan Finger, Liz Kennedy, and David Jaggers to the Tullahoma Tree Board for 2-year terms expiring August 10th, 2022. Item number 20-71, approve the reappointment of J.T. Northcutt to the Tullahoma Utilities Board for a 5-year term expiring on August 31st. 20-72, accept a $1,000 grant award from Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency with no required matching funds to support a stream cleanup project along Rock Creek Greenway. That's exciting. 20-73, approve the purchase of emergency vehicle packages for 2 vehicles for the Tullahoma Police Department from Truckers Lighthouse at state contract pricing, a total amount of $8,345.20. And 20-74, approve the purchase of John Deere mini excavator to support sidewalk, cemetery, drainage, street repairs, and other public works projects from Meade Equipment at state contract pricing, an amount of $54,850.69. 20-75, approve and authorize recreation facility manager J.P. Kraft to act as the owner and authorized signer for the Harbor Touch point of sale system on all accounts for the city of Tullahoma. And 20-76, review and accept the report on debt obligation for the August 6, 2020 refinancing of 2006 and 2010 school bonds.
Motion approved.
Second.
Proper motion, properly seconded. All those in favor of the consent agenda is presented, vote green, opposed, vote red. For the purpose of the people in the audience, consent agenda items are considered non-controversial and are voted on all at one time. Motion passes 7-0. We have one item of old business, an ordinance to amend ordinance number 1521 titled Adopting the Annual Budget and Tax Rate for the Fiscal Year beginning July 1st, 2019 and ending on June 30th, 2020. Approve on the second of 3 readings and set a public hearing for Monday, August 24th at 5:30 p.m.
Move to approve.
Proper motion.
Second.
Seconded. Proper motion by Mr. Noah, second by Ms. Blackwell. As you recall, this is simply Ms. Wilson and others' efforts for last year's budget. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of ordinance number 1541 on the second of 3 readings, vote green, opposed, vote red. Motion passes 7-0. We have several items of new business. Item number 20-77, approve a project with the Tullahoma Sports Council to improve basketball courts at Jefferson Street Park and authorize the acceptance of the community donations and in-kind services for the project. Ms. Blackwell for a motion.
Move to approve. Is that what you're wanting?
Yep.
Second.
I just thought you're involved in that.
Yeah, thank you.
Might want to make the motion. All right, have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion as presented, vote green, opposed, vote red. Motion passes 7-0. Item number 20-78, approve a grant application to the Blue Cross Healthy Places Foundation to support a fully inclusive park improvements, including fitness elements, playground equipment, a pavilion, picnic tables, and other improvements valued at $750,000 with no required matching funds.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Dr. Blank, second by Ms. Blackwell. Any discussion?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
It seemed in reading the details that there was no restrictions on how these funds could be used. Is that correct?
Exactly. This is a grant program, you may remember from last year, we applied for, we had a master plan for the Silver Street Park developed, and we applied for the grant funds, hoping that they would help us to complete the entire master plan. This year, we're applying again, but one of the things they've changed about the program is they are funding 1 of 6 templates, is what they called it. So they have 6 park designs, and you have to tell them in the application which of those 6 designs you are applying for. So we thought that we would apply for the park design that was an all-inclusive playground amenity, and so that would help us to complete that aspect of the master plan from the Silver Street Park.
Okay, so it's going essentially exclusively then to Silver Street Park.
It would be a project, Blue Cross, Blue Shield of Tennessee would be primarily involved in the design of the amenity and overseeing how that funding is used.
How many of these do they approve? 6?
I believe they're planning to fund 10 projects this year.
Money.
If we want to invite our Community Development Director, Winston Brooks, he may have some additional information.
Come on down,
Is there
Winston.
anything I have missed? I do know, Winston, if you want to share with them, there are a number of prerequisites that you have to have done in order to apply for the grant. And one of them is community engagement. And that's one of the things that we feel like we did very well in designing Silver Street Park is we had community input. We held a public meeting out at East Lincoln Elementary School that was pretty well attended, and we let the children and residents that attended vote on various amenities that they wanted to see, and we prioritized those items in the plan. And that's something that the agency the foundation that's funding this project, I know that's one of the things that they really liked about our application.
I guess a question.
Last year, it was a requirement that we have a design. So that was another limiting factor that kept us from going to another location is we use some, is that also a requirement this year that you already have a design? Or have they changed that since they're going to the template?
Mayor, Board of Aldermen, thank you for allowing me to speak. It's my opportunity to share an exciting opportunity for the community. Been working with Kurt and Kurt, City Administrator, obviously for a couple of years on Silver Street. This is funding that Blue Cross makes available. They've done it for several years. We've applied a couple times. When I talked to them after our last application, they encouraged us to continue to apply. This year they've changed the program a little bit, as you said, that there's 6 different designs that you could choose from. So I've shown you, each one of you have one of the designs. They're Thrive and Play, which the main thing about it is it's for all abilities. So it's fully inclusive. The other one has a large play area. It's called Family Fun. There's an Elite Challenge course, Community Pavilion. And so each one has sort of its own focus. And then they're going to pay they already know the cost. It's $750,000. The one thing that they said that made our application a good fit for this is that the site has to be prepped and ready to go. So with the work that we've done already at Silver Street, it's in the process, and with little to no, well, actually, I think the grading will be done with phase 1 at Silver Street Park, so it's kind of ready to go. So if they want shovel-ready projects. And then finally, the only thing that I'll have, and I'll take questions, as Ms. Moody mentioned, community input. Once we get the approval to submit this application, we thought we would do like a virtual type of community input using Facebook and put up some photos and solicit feedback from communities.
I have a couple questions. Looking at this here, like the fitness station 1, fitness station 2, 3, you got chest press, cardio, recumbent. Are those enclosed, or are those just kind of open air?
So
We have a
There'll be,
There's bikes sitting out.
yeah, open air.
So I guess the question one is, we're getting $750,000 to build this, right? What does this cost us over the next 10, 15 years to maintain?
So one, just to clarify, this item tonight on the agenda is for you to approve the application. So before, we have not submitted an application. That's why we're bringing it to you now for
Right.
discussion. But to your point, I think your point is about the maintenance, the ongoing maintenance cost of the park.
Yeah, because we don't, the item right before this, Ms. Blackwell has done an incredible job going out in the community to raise money to fix a park that we don't have money to fix. And we need more money, and we're gonna continue to raise money. And we don't have enough staff to maintain. We've not, I guess that's I mean, we kind of feel, and then here we are saying, we don't have money to take care of the parks we have, but we're gonna add a new 750,000, well, now to be close to 900, because we already put 2. Even if it's grant money, it's like me buying you a house and saying, I'll take your first 2 years' payments, and then handing it off to you. So that's a concern there. I still have the concern with, how are we addressing the crime at Silver Street Park? How are we addressing the drugs at Silver Street Park? How are we making sure that they're safe to do this? And I understand this is just to apply, but last time I asked, are we just applying? Can we ask questions later? The next time it came up, it was, well, we got approved for it. If we don't take it, then we're gonna get nicked later on for not taking it, and it'll be difficult for them to reconsider us. So I'd like to get that up now, so that next time we're not forced to press yes.
Yeah.
So you control the purse strings. Just because we've not appropriated, sufficient monies to maintain in the past, doesn't mean we can in the future. You control the purse strings, the budget.
Yeah.
One of the ways that I definitely approach grants is, and this may not be everyone else's philosophy, but the way I look at it is it's a competitive process, and this foundation is going to fund some community somewhere. And so we can either work to make sure that we attract those dollars to Tullahoma, or they're gonna get spent somewhere else. So I think financially, we've already, or at least the direction of the staff has been that you've supported a master plan for a park. You have funded the first phase of improvements for that park. And then this is a grant opportunity to complete the rest of the vision. And so I think that that's a good point. I would anticipate that this board would look at providing more staff and more funding for the park system to support it in the future.
Sure.
I know Winston's worked for a long time to apply for a lot of grants, and this is just one of many. I think at one point, and I may be misquoting, but it was close to 10% of our budget Winston had applied for and received grants. And I know that we are very fortunate to have someone with such forward thinking as part of our community, because you don't just get these don't just, there's only 10. There's only 10 going out, and that proposal looks really well thought out, and I think it would be foolish to leave $750,000 on the table from a private company. So thank you, Winston.
Can I ask a question about, so remember, of course y'all remember, that when we applied for the grant last time and we didn't get it, did they give feedback? Did they give feedback as to why we did they ever do that, so that we know when we put another grant application in, that we have a stronger grant application?
Sure. Some agencies do a better job of giving us that
Okay.
feedback than others. Do you remember any very specific feedback?
I don't know, we reached out to them afterwards, I don't remember the specifics last year, but before we started this process, reached out to Blue Cross Healthy Places and spoke to Manager Keith and the Director Scott Wilson, and told them where I was from. They, oh yeah, we remember your project, Tullahoma. And I said, do you think we should, apply again? And they encouraged me to apply again. And I said, do you think that we should go with a new concept or go with the same concept that we had the master plan designed for? And that's when they told me about the requirement. They call it the site topography and maintenance, which says that you need to have a level site that's ready to go. And then obviously, it's a partnership with Blue Cross Blue Shield to work it into your park system and maintain it over the years. And it would be branded with Blue Cross logo.
Yeah.
It would be blue. That's,
And do you know which one you're aiming for?
well, the one that we've talked about among the staff is the Thrive and Play, which is a fully inclusive large play area, meaning that it has, some of the feedback we've gotten, what that means is it's for all ability levels.
Yeah.
And so some of the feedback that we get when we go out and talk to the community about the different parks is we don't have many recreational opportunities for people who may not be have a full abilities or have some sort of handicap with
Or differently able,
wheelchairs or
yeah.
something like that. Yeah, so-
Yeah, that's actually, I met with Jennifer earlier today because that was a question I had, is whether there would be like some sort of sensory type play,
Right,
et
but
cetera.
we could,
Yeah.
obviously choose one of the other ones as well. And then, like I said, we're going to try to get some more community feedback.
Yeah.
And,
Okay.
the enforcement piece of it is something that will, they're already having challenges that Chief Williams can talk about in that area. But there are studies that show that when you create green spaces and attractive facilities like this, that it can change the community.
But those are in conjunction with other, not just putting a green space out there doesn't limit it. It's in conjunction with other efforts.
Yes, sir, I would agree with that. That's why I think if Chief Williams wanted to talk about enforcement or something like that, to that effect, or Kurt wanted to speak about the maintenance of it, we could talk more
Well,
about that too.
let me try to allay your fears a little bit. I was sitting where you are sitting. When was Rotary Park built, Kurt? 8 years ago? 10 maybe? I was early to the board, and I had concerns about maintaining, a facility like that. And my question was, how many of y'all, we had like different trees out there. We had some kind of park before, right? Where we put up different trees and had the names of them.
There's
And Arboretum, right? I pronounced that correctly. So I went out and walked to check it out, and it was sort of like a jungle. So Coach Matthews was on the board at the time, and I said, raise your hands if you've walked the Arboretum. Nobody raised their hand. And I said, how can you vote on that? And but it passed. And I probably voted against it, but I think it's been an asset to our community, and I think we have found a way to support that. Not only, any of the things in parks and recs that I think things like that are good for the community, that you question maintaining it down the road. I question when AEDC gave us the tennis courts out going towards the base. I think that was a good get for us. I question that too, but somehow we have seemed to maintain that. But that was always, I said, we don't have enough personnel to take care of what we have now, was my quote. Pull the files 8 or 9 years ago, but we have somehow done that. So, and I don't think, that's a good part to bring up, and I've been there and asked those same questions, but somehow we have been able to, maintain it pretty well. I'm sure it could be better, but I've been riding the same horse you've been on too, and down the road, you couldn't have changed my mind that night either. I mean, I was like, no, we don't have the money to maintain it, yada, yada, yada. We're getting this, but what are we getting in the long term? What's that gonna cost us? So 700, I mean, this is a big chunk of money, more than the Rotary Golf thing cost. But, in my mind, I don't think it'll cost that much to maintain it down the road. I mean, we built the little park next to the health department, and we had to refurbish it in about 15 years, I guess. But a lot of that was donated stuff initially, but it was given to the park, and we had to maintain that. So I mean, we usually find a way to do that. Is that correct? Would you sort of agree with that, Kurt? You remember when I was fighting that, I know, right?
Yeah, you caught me off guard. I thought you were talking about the Rotary Rocket Playground we had built.
Well, there was the Rotary Rocket Playground, but there was the Frisbee golf.
The golf course was, you're right, about 8 to 10 years ago, something like that.
Yeah.
It's, we've been able to maintain it well. We're lucky to have a good group, a core user group that helps us a lot, and had some volunteer days of helping us take care of it. But it's a very well-used thing, and sometimes things with use are easier to maintain without use. So that's one of them. It kind of keeps there to clear it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're definitely, will need more maintenance staff as we go forward. Right now, we're kind of down, but I think it's just a little blip in the budget. But hopefully we'll be back to our normal staff level and maybe even a little higher as we add extra things. But we always find a way to take care of everything. Just have to move things around sometimes.
With respect to the Rotary Disc Golf Park there with the Arboretum, I don't know that people come from out of town to go to see the Arboretum, but it's worth going to. But they do come from out of town to play that Rotary Disc Golf course over there. They come from 80 miles away to play that Rotary Disc Golf course.
Well, there's not
I've
that
walked
many.
it. It's amazing to walk it, but people I got a hole in one throwing a Frisbee. Hey, that's great. So we do. It's a tourist attraction, actually.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who use that. Actually, it's very highly rated on the ratings on the internet of where they rate disc golf courses in the area. It's very highly rated.
Have we allayed your fears any?
No. Well, like we talked, Imagination Station, I don't know if anybody's been there recently. And this isn't, you guys do great with what you have. I feel like you're probably lacking resources and money and attention. But Imagination Station's falling apart in play. You got roots running through things. You've got splinters where kids are getting jabbed through. Jefferson Street Park's a mess. Our two parks, the Arboretum and golf on that east side right there is great, but every other park is in dire need of, they're maintaining the best you can. And just, without saying, I understand it's a lot of money to leave on the table, but I don't think it's fair to the taxpayers to come out there and say, yes, we're getting this for free. We have no idea how much this is going to cost us down the road. We don't know that we're going to be able to budget staff to be able to do it. We don't know that we're going to be able to get you the tools that you need to do it. If this is the plan, how long is that recumbent bike going to sit out there without needing maintained? How long is that weight set going to sit out there without needing to be maintained? Chest press, cardio walkers out there in the open air. How long are they going to sit there before somebody walks off with them with the current issues that we have right now? I think we've got some bigger concerns right there. I talked to a kid who's somebody gave him tennis shoes to run some drugs to another apartment. We've got some deeper issues that this doesn't solve. And I just...
Well, Mr. Berry, please understand, you control the purse strings. Very appropriate, 10 months from now. Move that money around, appropriate more money, resources. Occasionally people will complain, and some of those complaints are unjustifiably directed towards Mr. Taylor because there's not enough paving going on around town.
Right.
That's not fair to him or Mrs. Moody. That is the 7 of ours responsibility. They do the very best they can with the resources given.
Right.
So really the issue is 10 months from now, offer an amendment. That's what it takes. Move that money around.
I would personally rather us take care of what we have first, fix that, and then let's build more. And because we don't know, 10 months from now there may be another COVID. We may be in who knows what's coming next, and we don't know. And we're committing to
We're not
And I know
committing,
it's just, I
actually,
know.
we're committing to put an application in.
I know it's the application, but the last time we did this, I had the same concerns about Silver Street on the same thing and said, we're just committing, right? You can ask questions later. And then when I asked questions later, it was, well, we've already done it, we've gotten the grant, they've awarded if we need it, and if we don't do it.
I think that you might be, your timeline might be slightly off, because the grant that was awarded for Silver Street that application that they actually got the money for was before our time. So when we came in, I think is that correct?
Yeah, it was before my
Yeah.
time as well, so.
So if we say yes to this and they give it to us, it's not gonna ding us. If we say no,
I think that every time that we bring you a grant application, if you think that you're not gonna be willing to accept that award, then we should not apply. And that is the purpose of me putting the application on the agenda, so that you're aware of what we're applying for, and that when we're awarded, we're ready to accept it.
All right, any other discussion? Are we ready to vote? We're voting on item number 20-78 to approve grant application. All those in favor of the item, vote green. Opposed, vote blue. Motion passes 6-1. 20-79, approve awarding the annual paving bid to Wright Paving for fiscal year '21. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion by Dr. Blanks, seconded by Ms. Dunn. Any discussion?
I looked at that and I tried to see what Rogers bid, what was the difference?
They're on several items. Could I have Public Works Director Butch Taylor come forward? I agree, they're bidding on unit prices for several different types of work and materials. And so it's not comparing one number to another, you're actually comparing on several items.
The bid is going to be awarded based on items 20 through 110, where you see the savings between Rogers and Wright Paving. E-mix is our primary mix that we use to pave city streets with. As you can see, Wright's was $73.09 per ton, and Rogers Group was $84.16. So that's a difference of $11 a ton. This is the first time probably in 10, 11 years that we've had anybody else bid.
It's usually Rogers, isn't it?
And, but, that a lot of times that's due to lack of work out there. I know the state's kind of tightened up their purse strings a little bit, so looks like Wright's got a little more aggressive. I talked to Rogers Group, they called me, and, that's basically their cost. So, but based on the numbers, I don't see any other way we can go other than this. The other items listed below, 120 through 320, those are just items we put in there, but that's not based on the award of the bid, it's based on the 20 through 110. Alderman Dunn had a question today about the street sweeping. Of course, we're not going to use Wright's number for street sweeping. If you look at that number, it's way out of line. So those will be competitive numbers that we'll go out for. So, but the bid is based on 20 through 110.
How long has it been since we've had a street sweeper?
Oh, goodness gracious.
You mean a piece of equipment or sweep the street?
It's
Piece of equipment.
Okay, that's it.
I'm thinking 10 years, 8 years. It caught on fire and it was never replaced.
No, we've had a constituent
Yes.
wanting to know about if we're gonna start that back
Yeah,
up.
we typically do it twice a year, and Rogers Group has done that. And then in addition, Rogers Group has, just in the last year, I think they purchased a new piece of equipment and they used our streets to train their driver. So
They can
they're very
train
good to
as
us.
much as they want.
And they're willing to, even though when they understood, when they talked to me about the bid, they said, certainly have no qualms or quarrels. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do and certainly understand it. And they're willing to still help us as a business in the city, whatever else we may need.
And how will we be getting our street swept?
We'll be using competitive pricing. There's a couple of people around, Rogers Group being one. Properties Maintenance in Manchester has swept our streets or swept the streets, however you want to pronounce that. But we've used them before. And we get some money from our state aid contract with the state, and they pay for 2 sweepings a year for the state routes, and we just add a little money to that to get other streets.
Would it be effective for us to own our own street sweeper?
Oh, goodness gracious, you're looking at probably $250,000 for a street sweeper. I can certainly see its benefits, but the cost of it, the pieces of equipment are hard to maintain. There's a lot of moving parts, there's a lot of water, you have to worry about the water freezing, the pipes, there's a lot to it. So that was an argument back when we didn't purchase one, so. We can certainly use it, but, does it benefit of $250,000?
Do we have a schedule for scheduling someone to do the street sweeping?
We do that. We try to do it, like Ms. Moody said, twice a year, because that's all the funds we have in the budget for that. So we try to do it twice a year.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Any other comments? Are we ready to vote? All those in favor of item number 20-79, vote green, opposed, vote red. Motion passes 7-0. Resolution number 1848, a resolution authorizing appropriations for financial aid of Coffee County Humane Society. So, I don't remember seeing an amount in the resolution. Does that need to be filled in?
It is in the application. It's $2,500.
All right, so the chair will entertain a motion that we approve the financial aid to the Coffee County Humane Society.
Motion to approve the
Second.
aid to the Coffee County Humane Society.
Second.
Motion by Dr. Blank, seconded by Ms. Blackwell.
Quick-
Any discussion? Yes, sir. No, you're good.
Our animal shelter, why do we not do cats?
I honestly couldn't answer that.
Well, there's a lot of good reasons to do it.
If we gave our animal shelter the $2,500, could they could they do the same thing that they're doing?
There's also a disease issue, there's.
It's a disease?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Coffee County Humane Society is,
Ms. Wilson.
I just wanted to ask if you include the amount you want in the motion, because we discussed 2,500 last meeting, but it was never approved. If you could put that in the motion, then we have it.
Yeah, I'll make the motion, a resolution authorizing $2,500 appropriation for financial aid of Coffee County Humane Society.
And then I'll second.
Any discussion?
the Coffee County Humane Society already does this service across the board for the county, not just for Tullahoma. But in this resolution that we're looking at, they have stated that they will use this $2,500 only for cats from Tullahoma.
Well, and I don't mean to be too brief. I did reach out to Coffee County Humane Society, and their director told me that she had reached out to you through email.
Yes.
And provided some information to each of you. And that one of the differences that she said is that our shelter, for a lot of people misunderstand that our shelter, which provides an animal control component, we take animals that have been surrendered by their owners. We take animals that we've received calls about that may be strays and things like that. But that the Humane Society, their primary goal is to help residents keep their pets and to be able to take care of their pets. So they do things like provide food and support to help them get discounted veterinary services. And so I just wanted to make that statement also for the benefit of the public, so they understand that the services provided by the Humane Society are really providing a different service than what our animal shelter's providing.
So it's not an overlapping service.
Correct.
Mm-mm. Does this specifically say for Tullahoma in here? Because it
That was
goes-
one of the things that she did tell me over the phone, that if this board wants to direct the $2,500 to Tullahoma animals specifically, that she can ensure that that's how the funds are used. And I think she gave me a number of roughly $3,500 already this year has been spent on Tullahoma animals.
Can we amend the motion to specifically say?
Yeah.
That's fine.
Good point. Yeah.
Second.
All right, so everybody clear on the motion? All right, we're ready to vote. All those wishing to vote for resolution number 1848, vote green, opposed, vote red. Motion passes 7-0. One thing we did not discuss was the source of the funds. Ms. Moody, Ms. Wilson can figure that out.
Drops her head.
Yeah. 18, well, at least it wasn't like $45 million or something. Resolution number 1849, resolution approving an urban development action grant, UDAG loan, in the amount of $30,000 for Tennessee Homes LLC for renovation of the building at 903 North Jackson Street. That's exciting. Is there a motion to adopt resolution 1849?
Move to approve.
Motion, Ms. Blackwell, second by Ms. Jones. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of resolution 1849, vote green, opposed, vote red.
Business.
Motion passes 7-0. No other business, Ms. Moody?
No other business?
We are adjourned and going to the beer board portion of the agenda. We have one item, BB 21, minutes of the July 27th beer board meeting. Is there a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
A motion by Ms. Blackwell, second by Mr. Norris. All those in favor of the consent agenda as presented, vote green, opposed, vote red.
Oh, God, sorry. Somewhere else, I'm sorry.
Motion passes 7-0. And with the business, we are adjourned. Have a safe evening. Thank you.
Mentally adjourned.